Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. It's Friday the 27th of October 2023. Right, back up at the other storage unit with the B50 and some of its stable mates that are up here. But that's because we're into the mode of prepping these bikes ready for the NEC Classic Motor Show next month, because that will soon be upon us. Just over 2 weeks time, effectively, is it? 10th to 12th, yeah. 2 weeks time. So I'm up here this morning to have another good look round this bike, and there's one or two other observations I've made since the last video. But before I get into those, the reason I'm here today is to clean up some of the components, put a bit of polish on the paintwork, clean up some of the chrome work, and whilst doing that, obviously inspect some of the parts as well. I do need to get this damn tie wrap off the seat. That's not holding the seat together. That was just to secure a label to it for when it's being exported. I keep forgetting to bring something with me to get that damn thing off. I don't want to try and rip it off because I might damage the seat, because the seat's in excellent condition. So let's get well, I use like a Brillo pad type of thing, or wire wool, to bring up the chrome, and I've got the polish with me for some of the paintwork. So we'll give various areas a bit of a go over and a bit of a test to see how well they come up. The front rim, I think, is going to be good. I've done a little bit on things like indicators and the headlight and the rear grab rail, but let me do a bit on this and I'll bring you back and you'll see the outcome of that, and maybe see how serious some of the corrosion is, or hopefully not. Now, firstly, I'm going to put some polish on this side panel, left-hand side panel. It's definitely original paint, flamboyant red, and this paint is notorious for fading in ultraviolet light and sunlight, or even in daylight when left standing outside. So we'll just get a bit of polish on that, and I'll do one or two other components, maybe this side of the tank perhaps, and the front mudguard. Let's do that first down this side, and see how they come out. We know that rear mudguard is original because that's exactly how they go. The red fades and you see the sort of base coats underneath. Let me just spend a few minutes on this, get a good coat of polish on, bring them up and see what they look like. But I've already got an observation on that tank and mudguard, and I'll tell you what those are when I bring you back. Right, I've been at it a couple of hours. Time flies when you're having fun. So let's work from front to back, and we'll start on the left side and then I'll turn it around. We'll do the right side. So front rim, remarkably good. Got a few areas which are a little pitty, but I've only gone round it for a first attempt and it will come up a bit better, I think. But the rim is actually better than the two rims we've got on the B50SS over there. So that's good news. The hub has got a few pits in the paint, but I haven't really done much with either of the hubs yet, but they will polish up. This is just muck here, so that should be okay. Fork sliders, they're all right. Stanchions are good, cleaned up well. All the indicator bodies have cleaned up well. This one needs a little bit more. There's a few aberrations there, but you'd expect that because these are plastic, chrome plastic. Headlight doesn't look too bad in this light. It needs a bit more work, but it is pitted, but it hasn't come up too bad. Acceptable for now. Its left-hand chrome wire stay there, totally gone. Well, while we're here, let's just go up. Handlebars, big lumps missing. There you can see the headlight from this angle, not too bad. The right stay is okay, clock's all right. Steering head nut, not too bad. Left fork top not okay. Right one, bit more work to do. Bit rough. Right, petrol tank. First thing, cap, bit rough. Now then, this tank. Let's talk about this tank before we talk about the front mudguard, which I've skipped. Right, put a bit of polish on it. Superficially doesn't look too bad. Did a bit of light rubbing where this put this red oxide on all the way along, and they have just put it over the top of what I thought was the original paint. But you get to a certain point where you start getting to this area where they've obviously used a bit of filler, and that's possibly to try and not necessarily sort of smooth in these pretty rough wells where they've turned the taps around on this, I think to convert a B25 tank into a B50 tank, but also perhaps to prevent any leaks, because the first bad news on this tank, and I don't know whether you'll see it very well here, is that it's been lined, but what you can't see very well, not from here because it's on that wall here where it's been dented, is that liner will be something like pet seal, i.e. pre-ethanol fuel liner, and therefore it won't be compatible with ethanol fuels. And also, so you can't see it, you may get a hint of it there, it's badly cracked and it's falling away. So that would all need stripping out. The other thing is the red paint on this tank is not original. It's been painted over the original. All right, we'll come back to you, don't you worry. The black paint and the badges, and I think the pinstripe is original, but there's a giveaway. And just there, and just there. This has been masked, and that paint's gone underneath the masking tape and over the top with the pinstripe. And that's why, if you look from a distance, the tank and also the front mudguard, we'll come on to that, is a slightly darker red than the side panel, and that definitely is a slightly faded original flamboyant red. Now, I didn't think this had affected the front mudguard, but you won't necessarily be able to see it too. Well, you can. Just there, there's a hint of the same thing where the paint has gone underneath the masking and on top of the black. This is still the original black vinyl. I can never remember the original name beginning with F. Fablon type strip, which they used at the time rather than black paint. And the edging, if you look at the very edging very closely, there we go, you can see the red paint is over the edge of the Fablon strip. And if you look also closely, the red paint where it's coming away, I think that's the original flamboyant red underneath. And the better way to look at that is the other side. That's not too good because it looks a bit orangey. There was another area that I did find. Oh, there we go. That's it there. That's faded flamboyant red there, where this top red paint is chipping off. And I can just chip it with my nail. So that's a bit disappointing. So it's not hardly original unrestored. It's a bit annoying really, because I did have an original factory paint, really good condition front mudguard, and I let it go. I don't know why. Anyway, that's the story with the tank and the front mudguard. Bit disappointing, but moving on. The electrical box, the rubber mounts on these are a later revision, and although the rubber has perished, you can actually replace those. That's okay. Now, in general, the engine appears to be very oil tight, hasn't been molested at all. All its fasteners looked as though they haven't been moved. The giveaway usually are the original cheesehead screws for the covers, and also the inspection caps as well. Totally unmolested. And as I say, no evidence that this has been leaking any oil at all. So pleased about that. You can see I've given the this end of the casing a bit of a polish up. It's getting there. It's going to be a slow job, but this is always slow. Every time you give it another bully with the Solvol, it'll bring it up a bit brighter. The black frame in general isn't too bad. I thought it was better than it is, but it's not too bad. But acceptable for now. Rear shock springs, remarkably good. Both of them. And they're coming up really well. I've got the insides to do a bit more, but as you can see, coming up pretty well. The rear brake plate's going to be okay. Now the rear rim that we thought was an absolute goner is bad in places, but you know, there's chrome on it, and it's coming up not too badly at all. So that's good too. Rear chrome part of the grab rail, no problem. That's fine. That's come up really well. Say rear indicator bodies, pretty good. The front stems are good. The rear stems are not. But I've got those, I think, in stock, and these are the correct revisions where you have the locking nut for the indicator body is on the outside, and you can't get these now. All the ones you get from Lucas don't have those at all. They're a different layer revision. We know about the light. I've got those in stock, or in factory paint. Be very tempted just to swap that out, just to tidy it a little bit with an original factory part. Right, let's turn it round and we'll have a look at the other side. Oh, yeah, managed to get that awful bloody tie wrap off the seat. The seat's in great condition, and that'll clean up really well. It's not very dirty at all. Obviously, it's lost its imprinted BSA on the back, but they all have. I'm not too worried about that. So, happy about the fact that, you know, some parts on this have come up really well, and we've got a coat of polish on them as well, so nothing will deteriorate any further. What will make this in the end, which people always tend to forget, is the fact that, you know, once you get tyre black on the sides of these as well, it just transforms the wheels, transforms the bike. You can see it on the Rocket 3 over there. Once you've got sort of black tyres, rather than these rather mucky ones, then that will help too. So we'll keep at it. Oh, one other thing I want to say, yeah. The horn's original, it's original mounting with its original bolts, but the rubbers have perished, but you can get those separately, so we'll be able to do that. Right, let's have a look at the other side. Okay, right hand side. Front brake plate should be originally matte black. Paint's coming off. Could be quite easy to actually just, I think I've got some spray paint just to touch that up a little, maybe around the air scoop and a bit along the top. The front brake isn't seized, and actually looks well adjusted too. Those breaker arms are in a perfect position, so that's good. As you can see, more evidence of the front rim being pretty good. Now on this side, one thing Greg picked up when I had a look at this bike, that we think is a bit of the rim tape sticking out the bead. So that's happened when it's been put on at some point. Does that mean the front tyre's been off? Pretty sure it's his original front tyre. They're both the Gold Seal K70 Dunlops. And actually, you can tell they haven't been much and things have been inside because they are still soft, but as you quite rightly say, they're 50-year-old tyres. Tank this side very much the same as the other side. Say this red oxide, I've started to clean up on the other side and it will come off down to a certain point. So we could clean it off. There is a dent there and there is a way we can get that dent out. Probably the most efficient way is to put a blood pressure cuff in there and pump it up and pump it out. I think that would probably be the best way. Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking about this on the fly, but we'll sort that out. Again, rubber's gone on the mounting. You can see that there, look, but they're easy enough to replace. Wiring is just, the bullets have just come out connectors, so that's one of the indicators. That's the flasher unit feed. This one, red and white, is defunct, and that's just, I believe, starter motor. So those are going to connect in somewhere up here. I can find the one for the green and red indicator, but it's right under there. So it's just a case of taking the tank off and doing that. So that's no problem. Again, engine clean and tidy on this side. The points cuff has suffered a bit. That's not come up very well at all. But again, engine case is pretty much unmolested. Haven't started cleaning this one up yet at all. And engine appears oil tight. Obviously we know about this not being original. And also we've noticed that its front chain guard has broken off one of the mountings. I can't remember where the other mounting is actually, but it's roughly the same as the one we had to put on the B50SS, because it was missing too, so we should be able to get one of those all right. Side panel, original paint, bit faded, but not too bad. I did notice, I think it's this one, yeah, rattling a bit because there's no rubber cushion on the mounting pin here. That's missing, but the top one's there. Exhaust is in great condition. I thought it was a bit mucky, the silencer, but it was just muck on top. Bit of rust on the top there, but that's nothing. Silencer's in really good nick, well, externally anyway. It's not done that many miles, so internally it should be okay. Chain guard is no dents on it, and it's stainless steel, so it won't rot, but it's not dented. Usually these get quite well dented. It's not a bit of a scratch there, don't think so. And there's a bit more evidence of your rear wheel, which has sort of cleaned up the rim. So it's looking an awful lot better. So, there we are. So at the moment, we're just really trying to tidy this up, clean it up a bit, ready for the NEC Classic Motor Show where you'll be able to see it. And then we'll decide what to do with it longer term. We will do a recommission of the engine and see if we can get that going safely, that is, with you know, new oils, etc. Maybe with the spine cleaned out before we decide to do with it cosmetically. But I do have one of these tanks in stock, which is in factory paint, but the red is all faded. But I do have the ability to be able to spray that. I've got some spray paint in and flamboyant red. And I'm very tempted to see what this other tank is, assuming that it is a B50 one and not a B25 one where the taps are further forward here, which is why this one has been butchered and turned around. I think that's a B25 tank. Right, everyone. That's another sort of a more deep dive into an assessment of the bike. We won't do any more on this. Well, we won't be doing anything mechanically on it. What I probably will do before the NEC show is carry on doing some more cleaning, and also I will take that tank off. We'll tidy up the wiring, etc. I'll maybe take that fuel filter off because, oh god, I just can't stand the look of it. And we'll take it from there. But just to let you know as well that by the looks of it, with respect to the poll that I put out on the community to post to the subscribers, then the majority of you, more than 50%, are in favour of this being commissioned, original and unrestored, although the tank isn't quite original, but you know what I mean. Right, there we go, another update. That'll be it on this before the show. So those of you that I see there that have maybe commented upon this or voted in the community post and you're attending, I look forward to seeing you. Right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so very much, everybody. As always, thanks for any comments, interest and subscriptions. I'll see you all again soon when we'll probably be back on Greg's Bonnie. Cheers, bye-bye. Stop press, back at the home garage. Dug out the spare tank that I've got for the singles. And I bought this some time ago because one, it's not dented, two, it's original, and the black paint and white pinstriping is excellent on it, but as you can see, all the red is faded except for the back end and the underside, but I've got red paint to do that. But anyway, this is in good condition generally, and I think the tap holes are far enough back. Now, it's got me thinking, originally the B25s were built and the tap holes were too far forward in the tank and were fouling the rocker boxes on the B50. So they had to move the holes back. Now, whether or not they moved them for both bikes, I don't know, and whether or not they finished the 1971 B25SSs by the time they started the building the B50s in June 71. Again, I don't know, but the B25SSs were coming off the line first and started before the launch in November 1970. So that might be the case. So they may have modified the tank and put the tank on both bikes rather than having two separate tanks, which would be ridiculous, really. So we'll take that over to the B50 and offer it up and see if those, if the petrol taps in that position are going to be fine. Also, though, what I found, I know I said that I used to have a front mudguard with black stripe, new old stock, which I let go. Well, I've got a rear here in flamboyant red. I'm just going to check that. Still in factory wrappings. And I remember I bought this for paint matching. I also bought it with a 72, I believe that's high violet, slightly darker than what was going to be flam bordeaux. I'm pretty sure that's high violet. Guard up there, again immaculate. New old stock. It's going to be very tempting to put this on the B50 to replace that rather badly faded one. We could still call it original factory paint then. And also in the boxes down there somewhere, I'm not going to dig it out now, I do have a couple of new old stock in immaculate condition tail lights. So maybe we're hatching a plan. If this tank does fit okay, as I say, the black paint really is in remarkable condition. I can carefully mask this and retain the factory pinstripe and repaint the flamboyant red areas, as I say, on the underside. It's still pretty much, you could get a good paint match from that really. So we could do some test areas on it. There's a couple of little areas on this that need touching up, but that's just black, so I'll just drop some paint in there. This might have to do a bit of work around there, but nothing special. We don't want to detract from the fact that this is factory paint. Anyway, that was a quick postscript, longer than a quick, and we'll leave it there. Cheers everybody, see you again soon. Bye bye.